what can I do to conserve calcium?
Okay. All right. What can I do to conserve calcium?
Now, let me explain why I said, then I'll answer the question. Our government did a study to find out how much calcium do we need, and they decided it was 400 milligrams a day.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem with that. I think that's probably right on. But the recommendation they came up with after, okay, that's what we need, then they followed people taking for it, and they were still coming up deficient. So they doubled it to 800. And then they doubled it to 1,200. Now it's got to 1,600. And so if we actually only need 400, why do we need 1,600 to even, and even still we're still running behind? It's not. Well, could it be that we're doing things that are robbing more calcium than we're taking in? And the answer is yes. And that's the part they didn't take into account in the study, and they still haven't figured it out. But if we would just leave off or reduce red meats, carbonated drinks, sugar and caffeine, white flour, and then other toxins, those are all things that rob calcium before our body even gets it. So it'd be the same as, I have my living expenses, and my $2,000 paycheck month covers that, but I'm needing $3,000, $4,000. What's the deal? Well, why don't you get rid of that Ferrari that you don't need, because you've got a VW that gets you point A to point B. Get rid of the yacht. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And then so that's the first. Then the second question is, then where do I get calcium?
Right.
And that would be green, anything green and anything orange.
Green and orange.
Okay, green and orange. So there's all vegetables that are green. And orange would be sweet potatoes, carrots, and oranges, and then nuts. So those are the three.
Good. I found a love for sweet potatoes this past probably month or so. I've been eating a lot of those.
Yeah.
And so I should be getting more than, and I've been eating nuts every day.
Okay.
One thing I wanted to tell you also that I've been doing, drinking some water mixed with apple cider vinegar on a daily basis.
Lots of good raw.
Yeah, raw.
Okay.
It's the Bragg's. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good benefits. I have no problem with that.
Is it necessary? Do I need to do it, or good maintenance, or?
The two things I usually recommend it for are people who tend to have bladder kidney infections, or if they have, it does seem to help digestion if they have but just to do it, you're not going to hurt anything.
Right. Okay. I saw something online. We were looking up. Me and my mom were looking up arthritis, and they mentioned it in there. So I was like, hey, why not? So I started doing it. So. Okay.
Cool. No, actually.
You want to leave it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then I need one of each.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Have you gotten through all the CDs yet?
Right.
I'm
trying to think. There may be like one or two that I haven't finished out yet, but
have you run across any ahas?
A few every day. One thing we can talk about real quick: memory. I've got terrible memory.
No, you don't.
Okay, no, I don't. Good. I like that. It's okay.
No, I'm not saying it's not such a thing as a memory issue, but see, when you're younger, life was not so complicated and complex, and now that you're more responsible and you've got more stuff on your plate, church, family, home, blah, blah, there's just a limited amount of processing space up there. And so the brain just selects what it's going to keep a hold of or not. So what's important to you, you remember.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Now, is that not to say the next guy over who's busier than you are might remember more? Yeah, because some people just have a greater memory capacity. That's true. Just like we all have our pluses and minuses. But now, someone who, if their life load did not diminish over a period of 2 years, but their memory did, then I'd be looking at calcium.
Okay.
But most of the time, it's just you just as life gets fuller, the brain just says, okay, what's important? Our brain is hit with I'm pretty sure I got this figure right. 100,000 bits of information per second. And there's a thing called the thalamus up there that sorts through and decides what it's going to keep a hold of or not, what's important, what to tell the brain to take action on,
Right.
to remember, that's something.
Huh.
Yeah, pretty sure it's 100,000 per second.
Right. Huh. So, is there any way to help increase the capacity?
Well, if you do, I think I saw you with little, the more you write down, schedule, organize, those things all help because if it's on paper or in the computer, the subconscious mind doesn't feel like obligated to hold on to it. Example. So that frees up more room.
Right.
For example, years ago when I first started lecturing on the country, I would stay at people's homes who would sponsor the seminar. And so when it came Sunday morning, time to get up to catch the plane, sometimes the guest room did not have alarm clock, and I didn't have an alarm on my watch. So I'd say, "Will you wake me such a time so I get showered and we get." And in those cases, every time I would just every 30 minutes, every hour, I was waking up and looking at my watch. If there was an alarm clock, I set the alarm and go right to sleep. So what was the difference? The difference was I put it on paper.
Right.
And the subconscious mind felt no longer responsible.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. So that's why people who are on a schedule, have a schedule, day timer, or whatever. They're a lot more organized and calm and cool and collect, and it's not so much personality. It's because the subconscious mind is saying, I don't have to worry about that. I can now just deal with whatever.
Right. Huh.